Hey guys, it's me, and we are going to go over how to analyze your enzyme lab data. I'm going to start off by just cutting and pasting all of your class data into a new file, which is what you should do as well. So I don't want you messing around in the document that has everybody's data. You should make your own file so that you can play with it from there. So now that I'm here, the first thing I'm going to want to do with my data is figure out the average or the mean amount of oxygen produced at each temperature. So you can see we have our time, and then we have percent oxygen at 5 different temperatures. So we've got 27 Celsius, 32, 37, and 42, and then 47. Really, you would want to have 5 trials, ideally, to do analysis, but we only have 3 here, so I'm going to work with the numbers that we have. So I want to know the mean amount of oxygen produced, but I don't want to know the mean total. I want to know the mean amount of oxygen produced at each time point. Because what I'm really trying to figure out is the rate of the reaction, or how quickly we broke down the hydrogen peroxide at each of these temperatures, because I want to know what temperature that enzyme functions the best at. And so what I really need to do is figure out, at starting, what was the average percent, at 15, at 30, at 45 seconds, and so on. So I'm going to insert a column to the right, and this is where I'm going to put my mean value at 27 degrees Celsius. I also want to calculate standard deviation for each of these to see overall, how reliable is that data? Were there large fluctuations in data, or was it all relatively similar? So I'm going to insert another column to the right where I can put my standard deviation data. Okay. I'm going to do this for each of these. So I'm going to insert column. You could also make another table where you are putting in your process data and just pulling from, oops, wrong place. I don't need to insert there. Okay, so I have my mean value. So in order to do this, there's a few different ways that I can tell Google Sheets that I want it to do math. One of those is to hit the equals button, and that tells it that I want it to do some sort of calculation for me. And it already kind of knows what I want based on the data that's there. But if it doesn't pop up, I can start typing average and then click on this. Once I've clicked the function that I want, then I can select the data that I want it to average. Once I have that highlighted, you can see it here as well. It's telling me what cells. If you hit enter, then it will do the calculation. So now that I'm here, ooh, did I just mess that up? I did. So if I come back to this cell, you'll notice this little box over here in the corner. If I hover over it, I'm going to get a little X or plus sign. I can click and drag down, and it will know that I want it to perform that same function. So you can see here it's doing the average, but here it's doing B4 to D4. Here, B5 to D5. So it knows that I want it to perform the same function, but using this data set instead. So that's a really nice shortcut. Here you're going to have the same thing. So I want standard deviation. So I'm going to hit equal, ST, DEV is standard deviation. And again, I'm going to select the data that I want it to analyze. So I'm going to come over and select just the measured data. Be sure not to include the mean in that, and equals. And again, we really don't have enough data to be doing standard deviation calculations on. You want to have at least 5 trials to start doing those kind of statistical analysis, but we're going to work with what we have here. So again, if I wanted to, if I wanted to bring that down, I just pull it down and it does all the math for me. If I want to keep this all at the same number of decimal places, you want to be consistent. Sometimes it will autocorrect. I can select my data. I just select all of these and I tell it that I want all of these to have 2 decimal places. If you go to Format and Number, you can scroll down. And this one happens to have the number of decimal places, but you can also go to More Formats, Custom Number Format, and tell it exactly how many decimal places you want it to have. So here, I hit Apply, and then it will round everything to the 2 decimal places so that I have the same number of significant digits in each one. Okay, I'm going to do this again over here, just so you can see it again. So I'm going to title it Mean. This is for 32 degrees Celsius. And then I have my standard deviation. So here, again, I'm going to hit equals, ABE, and I'll put average, and then I'll select the data that I want it to average. Once I have that, I can hit enter, and it will do the math for me. I'm going to select and pull this down, and voila. Another thing that you can do is go to the insert function and search for the function that you want. Most of the ones that we are using, I believe, are in the statistical one. So you have average, and then standard deviation would be in here as well. So that's another option. There's usually multiple ways to accomplish the task within this program. So here again, I'm just going to select the ones that I want and then drag down. So you should do this for all of your data. I'm going to make another video to show you how to graph that data. But practice. If you make a mistake, just hit this button right here and it will take you back and you can try again. So good luck. If you get stuck, just come on into class and I can help you out one-on-one. Thanks. Bye.